January 19th, 2021 was the day I would be moving into my new apartment in Boston. Ever since I submitted my CFSI application, I have been researching the city meticulously, creating a bucket list of things to do in Boston, finding out all the information I could about housing, and everything I could about my internship organization. I do the same overthinking routine every time I am facing a big change for the simple reason that I like knowing what to expect before I go into a new situation, such as moving to Boston for the semester during a pandemic without knowing anyone. I finally arrived at my apartment on move-in day and set up my room exactly how I had planned. After getting settled, I got ready to go to Trader Joe's with a bunch of other people in the cohort since we were all in new apartments with no food. We finally walked into the Brookline Trader Joe's after a 30-minute trek in the cold, and I filled up my car with all the essentials. The cashier told me my hefty total, and I reached into my purse to pull out my wallet with my debit card, but I looked inside and realized the worst possible thing that could have happened in that moment had happened. My wallet was nowhere to be found. Here I was, standing at the checkout counter at a packed Trader Joe's in front of almost $100 worth of food with no way to pay for it. I did the only thing that I could think of in the moment and told the cashier I had forgotten my wallet and there was no way I could pay for the groceries, and left the store to tell all those people I had just met that I had forgotten my wallet. Needless to say, I had Uber Eats for dinner that night. I trekked back to my apartment with no groceries in hand, and I was just so mad at myself for forgetting something so simple. How does someone that overthinks everything so much decides to not overthink about making sure she has her wallet before she walks 2 miles to the grocery store? Putting my frustration aside, I decided to order takeout for dinner and just go to the grocery store the next day. My forgotten wallet that seemed like a big deal in the moment ended up only being a temporary problem with a simple solution. I have come to learn that these temporary problems happen all the time in our day-to-day lives. And no matter how much you think you've prepared and researched that outcome you think is going to happen, sometimes life happens instead and things don't go according to plan, such as a forgotten wallet causing you to be unexpectedly groceryless or a global pandemic. I have never been good with expecting the unexpected. I have a tendency to build up an expectation in my head of what something new is going to be like, and then end up getting frazzled or disappointed when things don't go to plan. This past year as a whole has been the perfect example of that. I originally planned to go to London abroad for the spring of my junior year, and was completely thrown for a loop when the trip was canceled because of COVID. Instead, I lived in Boston doing an internship program for an organization I'm super passionate about. That outcome clearly wasn't what I expected from my college career, but was a decision that was totally worth it. Although this semester was an amazing experience, there were still many roadblocks I couldn't have been prepared for, and it wasn't just forgotten wallet. There are also forgotten keys and Charlie cards, but I won't bore you with those stories. They're pretty self-explanatory. The lesson I learned from my CFSI experience was no matter how much you meticulously overthink and prepare for something and raise your expectations, nothing will ever go exactly according to plan. When those setbacks happen, the best thing you can do is problem solve and continue to push through. One of the many beauties of life is you can't plan for everything, and the future may always be a surprise. From expecting the unexpected, you'll be surprised at how much you end up learning. Thank you.